Do you need to make mistakes yourself to learn the lesson? That's what's on my mind today, because I used to say, no, I guess I gotta learn on my own. Cabeza dura, hard-headed. You know what I mean? And recently, I became aware through other people's mistakes that some mistakes are fatal. Some mistakes you can't come back from. Some mistakes are so grave that the recovery, yes, as beautiful as the lesson was, didn't need to come with such great sacrifice and pain. Do you need to learn from your own mistakes? Or can you learn from the stories, experiences, histories, and observation of other people's lives? I'm on my morning walk right now, and I find myself thinking about these things and reflecting. For the last few years, I've been reading books mainly on personal development, and I will tell you, best thing that could have ever happened to me was somebody asked me what I wanted and showed me how to get it through books and mentorship, right? But mainly through books. And then mentorship came afterwards. And at the time I was so young and hubris and full of zeal in life, and I still am. But I find myself understanding and being able to ground myself while also still being enthusiastic and having a zeal for life. I'm surprised that I'm walking right now, because usually I would either be running, biking, skating on my skateboard or on my rollerblades. But today I want to take a stroll, a walk. I find that the type of vehicle I use to move through time and space evokes a different thought, emotion, energy, feeling. This one slows me down a little bit, so it slows my thoughts down a little bit. I was reading the other day in the Rick Rubin book that distraction is distinct and different from procrastination. Distraction gives you the ability to take the problem that you're dealing with and let your subconscious mind work it out without your conscious mind having to do all the work. And I find that walking, biking, driving, those things are a distraction because you have to pay attention to the road and the things around you, while these problems, thoughts, yarn, tangled up messes, mental messes that is, energetic messes that is, get worked out by your subconscious mind. I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of makes me even more grateful for the ability to know how to distract myself. Now, distraction and procrastination, two different things. I wrote down that procrastination is you're avoiding the work altogether. You're not even wanting your subconscious mind, any part of you, to deal with it. So you shut yourself off. But a distraction is like, ooh, I gotta go pay attention to this right now. I'll come back to that later. But in the meantime, I gotta look around so no cars are coming, so that this part of my brain is looking around while this part of my brain is in deep thought. I thought that was really cool. And I find myself thinking, I have a lot of books at home. Definitely over 100, definitely over 200. I should count, actually. But I've noticed that there is gaps in them. There very rarely any biographies. I think there might be literally a handful of biographies, and I haven't even read them. Mainly it's personal development, most of it actually, and some, other little fascinations of mine. But so I realized I need to read and acquire more stories, both fictional and non-fictional. One, it'll make me a better writer, because that's a craft that I'm interested in and exploring and getting better at and sharing with others. But also it'll help me problem solve, because instead of it being me or even the closest people around me, it could be a distant character that had to deal with the same thing. The reason I say that is because even like the musical Hamilton. The musical Hamilton is a musical about one of the founding fathers of America, Alexander Hamilton. And one of the songs is Satisfied. And I know it's a great musical. Lin-Manuel did an incredible job. The whole cast was incredible. And I found myself talking to a friend of mine, letting her know that, I asked someone that I don't even know. I was like, hey, are you happy? And he says to me, this is a stranger, by the way. I just asked a stranger, are you happy? Because these are the types of questions that I ask. I don't really like asking like basic, small talk questions. Like, can we get to the good stuff? Can we get to the nitty gritty? Can we get to the depth? If you're willing to go there with me, I'll be right there. So I asked him if he's happy. And he said, I am, but I'm not satisfied. And I was like, ooh. And I looked up the difference between happiness and satisfaction. Happiness is in the here, in the now, in the process of it. Satisfaction is the end result of it. And I said, ooh, shit. Interesting. And I said, I think that's me. Now, that was about a week ago. And I will say that I am happy and I'm also very satisfied, but there is a dissatisfaction. And so I say this to my friend, and she's like, well, Alexander, he was never satisfied, and he made grave mistakes in contrast that affected his happiness. And I was like, interesting. And I was just listening to that right now. I was listening to that song right before I started recording. I love how all these moments interweave with one another, making this like beautiful collage of your so-called life, but then of humanity in total and of this whole universe. I think it's like going into the macro, zooming in, boop, and then zooming out. It's so fascinating through these moments, through these conversations, through these pictures and sounds. Anyways, yeah, I found myself thinking, Sasha, as much as you love learning, as much as you love to be observant of your own life, continue to do so. Continue to observe yourself, be aware, question things, be inquisitive, be curious, continue all of those things, while also observe others' lives. Make sure you take a page from their book and see and ask yourself, do I want what they have? If the answer is no, do the opposite. If the answer is yes, do exactly what they did. Now, I remember having this conversation many, many years ago with this girl I worked at a gym with, and she says, I want the owner's life. I want her life. And I said to her, and I think how old was I at the time? I was in my mid-20s. And I said to her, do you want all of her life? Do you want her marriage, her family, her health, her social life, and her business life and her financial success? You have to look at the whole encompassing thing, because if not, you got to be very careful, right? What you listen to, but more importantly, what you apply. If you're applying business success, sure, but know what that comes with. Know how it affects the other parts of her life. I don't know what just happened. Anyways, yeah. And so and that's called the Solomon effect. Sometimes when you give other people advice, you don't always follow it yourself. And I'm not saying I didn't. but I could have done better. But yeah, biographies of other people, whether it be real characters, real people, or not. Learn from other people's mistakes so that you can get the lesson.